Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were advised to do what? And why did they choose to ignore this very sage advice? Hi, Neil here in the heart of London. Thank you for joining me today. Lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for all your kind and wonderful comments. Yes, finally, the cold it seems to be abating. I don't know about you, you live in fear of what's coming next though, don't you? You're thinking, goodness, what is it, you know? Taking the iron, take the super C vitamins, taking everything. But of course, only time really, as we all know, cures all ills. Time and a bit of rest, of course. But there's no rest when you're on the royal beast, and that's because, of course, two of our one-time royals keep me very busy. But what are they up to now? And seemingly, why has this become a huge problem for them? It's interesting to note, isn't it, with Harry and Meghan, that they don't seem to have the best advice around them, even though they seemingly have spent quite a bit of money by buying alleged best advice. Now, this really all sent us back to, well, 18 months, 2 years ago now, when Harry and Meghan were very, very distraught, as one can imagine, regarding that letter that was leaked to the Mail on Sunday. Well, not leaked, it was given, let's not forget this, by her father, Thomas Markle. He wanted his version of events to come out. He, of course, was in receipt of that letter from his daughter, who was estranged, and he willingly gave that to the Mail on Sunday to print. This really was in retribution to an article that had been leaked or given, whichever way you want to look at it now because it's such a mess, to a US gossip celebrity magazine, in which, of course, he didn't come out of it too favourably. What's interesting to note about this particular situation now is that at that time, both Harry and Meghan were advised by Queen's Counsel to just let it go. You know, don't get involved with a tabloid sting. More importantly, don't try to take on the tabloids because most of the time you don't necessarily win. Now, according to a very good source, and I always have to say allegedly, this wasn't all down to Meghan Markle. Apparently Prince Harry, or Hothead Harry as I like to call him, as we saw with the BBC, likes to plough forward, and he wanted to push ahead because he naturally wanted to protect his wife and was more incensed. But of course they were advised that a lot of negative things could also come out. How wise was that Queen's Counsel? Because as we saw over the last few days, we've had the text, the letter, all the details, all sorts of things leaking and coming out, which are all proving negative and more importantly, very difficult for brand Meghan and Harry. Now, of course, we're not sure exactly how this court case will end, but there's no real winners in any court cases regarding, well, you and me and the tabloids and, of course, the law. The people that do well, as everybody says, are the lawyers. What does happen is you get a bigger insight into that person's life, whether they want it or not, seemingly in the pursuit of real evidence. For Harry and Meghan now, they've got to live with the fact that a lot of things that they claimed happened seemingly didn't, again, allegedly. But more importantly for them, would you think that they've learned not to go down this path again? Do we all think, though, that Harry and Meghan could have possibly learned from this debacle that's now ongoing? Or, like so many people are telling me, they seemingly will press ahead with anyone who they feel has wronged or slighted them. Now, I can only give advice at this point, but having worked and dealt with the tabloid press firsthand, one would suggest sometimes it's better to turn the other cheek, move on, and more importantly, move forward with your life. As they often say in the world of tabloid newspaper, today's news is tomorrow's fish and chip paper. I don't necessarily agree with that statement. Certain things can stick, but sometimes it's better left alone and simply move on. Or as our gracious Majesty the Queen has often done, simply ignore it and plough ahead doing better work. Neil Sean in the heart of London.